Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha and today we're going to be talking about books like we do every day. More specifically, we're going to be talking about the books I read in September and like the last few weeks of August, since I didn't quite get them in my recent reads but like video that I did a couple weeks ago, which I will link down below because those are all the books I've read up until now. So now we are getting like a current what I just read, which is exciting because it's been a while. I think I'm going to start with the physical books that are in front of me because I have them in front of me. And then we'll go to all the ones that I read on audiobook and on my Kindle. So first, Harrow the Ninth. This one got like a 3-star. I liked Gideon the Ninth so much. Harrow the Ninth is definitely feels more of like a fever dream. We have like a main character. We have a main character who is basically a, what is it called? An unreliable narrator because she is going through a lot of mental anguish, and therefore it just kind of feels like a fever dream. Like it's really hard to tell what's real, what's not real, what's going on. So the book was a lot harder to read, especially when you throw like sci-fi into that, which I personally don't read very often. This one's a lot harder. This one's a lot harder. But Gideon the Ninth, I still highly recommend. Harrow the Ninth, you gotta be in for the win. And I do hope to read Nona the Ninth, I believe, Nona the Ninth, the next one, which is technically a prequel. I don't know what's going on with that, but still highly recommend. We are still getting lesbian necromancers in space, just a little bit more fever dream, a little bit more horror too. So if you're into that. The next book I read was Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This one was just a formulaic Ali Hazelwood book. If you're new here, I'm not the biggest fan of Ali Hazelwood. This was just kind of like a impulse buy. I enjoyed it. I appreciated it. It was fast. It was fun to read. It is what it is. I don't really have much more to say about it. But yeah, Ali Hazelwood. If you like it, if you like their writing, you will probably love that book. Now, the next one was Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I am just now getting around to this. I've seen it everywhere. Everyone talking about it. I remember when the special editions came out for the Illumicrate, the very gorgeous editions. This actually really surprised me. I thought this was going to be like a middle of the road YA fantasy romance vibes, but it was a little bit more than that. I agree with it being severely cutesy. Like if you're not ready to go into it with a little bit more of a quirky, cutesy sort of mentality, you probably will be disappointed by this book. But it was definitely, it was cute, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. And I liked where it went. This one is about a girl who makes a deal with a trickster god named Jax to save who she believes is her true love. And part of the deal of the god saving him is that she now has to have 3 kisses, which seems harmless enough. And it's just like this really fun, it is very fun and quirky. And if you're looking for like a romantasy that isn't too dark or isn't too taking itself too seriously, there you are. All right, the next ones I had just recently posted a vlog for, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. You can go watch the vlog if you want to know more about these books. Hera by Jennifer Saint. Jennifer Saint is probably one of my more favorite authors. They wrote Ariadne, and I loved that book. This one was really interesting. It's a take on Hera, obviously, or it's really trying to give you a different perspective on Hera in the way that it's making you realize how dynamic her character actually is as somebody who sits next to the throne of Zeus and wants her own power as well. As if you're not familiar with the Greek myth, basically Hera, anytime Zeus gets involved with another woman, Hera, his wife, ends up punishing that woman. And so she's always kind of been a little bit of a villain. She also is known for tricking heroes and making it difficult for heroes to do their tasks and everything else, right? So like she's kind of a villain in all of these mythologies, and you're getting her perspective, and it's kind of just making you, I think it's really meant to have the reader critically analyze Hera as a character and as an aspect in these myths. So appreciate what this was doing. This was still more of a 3 out of 5 stars for me. Might be because it ended up being like a little bit repetitive, but Jennifer Saint, I still love her retellings. I think she has a lot to say about Greek myths and the characters that are in them. Next book, A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang. I stayed up way too late. I cried. I wanted to throw things. I squealed, kicked my feet, did all the things that you love to do when you are reading. This book reminded me why I love reading. This is about a small town girl. She is picked by an emperor's advisor to marry or be a concubine. A concubine for the opposing emperor, the conquering emperor, as a spy. So she gets hired. She's the most beautiful woman in the village. This advisor comes, meets her, hires her as a spy. She goes over to the other kingdom as a concubine for the emperor, and things ensue. I think you get a lot of conversations about war, about the tolls of war, about the corrupt power and all of its corrupting power and all of its corrupting ability. Love, doomed love, blossoming love, politics, friend dynamics. I cried. I loved it. I thought I was going to die. So highly recommend. 5 out of 5 stars if you didn't quite catch that. Next book is All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Matthews. This was really just a conversation about life and the value of life and quality of life. This is about two very quirky kids who end up being kind of the center of this crime that occurs in a small town, and it follows their lives as you realize how this crime impacts them and their community and everyone around them, and really just getting their perspectives on life and the value of life, and once again, like I said, the quality of life. And it's very well written. It is beautifully written. I wanted to tab and highlight everything because I swear like every other page was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful book. So I highly recommend this one too. 5 out of 5 stars. If you're not catching the drift, the vlog went really well, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, the next one I have to talk about is Business Casual. So I love the Love Light Farm series. That is probably my favorite romance series. Chestnut Springs is probably a close second. But if you want something that is just like atmospheric fall, Gilmore Girls, small town, lovable characters that you just instantly fall in love with, I highly recommend Love Light Farms. Business Casual, I believe, is the last one in that series. Like I said, I'm there for the vibes when it comes to Love Light Farms, so I always have to recommend. I think I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars, so yay. The next one I read was Under Your Spell. I forget who the author was. This was just an audiobook I got off of Book of the Month. If you can't tell, Book of the Month basically owns my paycheck. My paycheck, like I have a paycheck. Book of the Month basically owns me. But anyways, Under Your Spell, this one was okay. I think it was part of a series, and I think this is like the 3rd or 2nd book. It felt that way anyways. Basically, one of the sisters ends up in a really bad breakup, and they have kind of like this witchy vibe between them. They kind of like to play with witchy stuff, so they end up doing a fake hex, like Midnight Margarita kind of vibe, do a fake hex on her ex-boyfriend, and it ends up with her bumping into or having the opportunity to work with somebody that she may or may not fall in love with. So this is like a 3 out of 5 stars. Not the greatest, not the worst. Next book was another romance. Basically, August was the end of my romances. I just read all these at the end of August, and it was a wonderful time. You guys should try doing that, just reading a bunch of romances at the end of August. But this was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I don't have the book in front of me, so I'm taking a wild guess right now. I liked this one a lot. I like the character dynamics between this one. Like I said, it's just a romance. It is about a traveling nurse who ends up finding a guy on like Am I the Asshole, which I guess is a website. But ends up following up with dating him, and she's a traveling nurse, so she's like, for the next 3 months, like, we should date. And the whole concept is that they have a curse. Both of these people have a curse, and it's that whoever they break up with ends up with the love of their life. So they're thinking that if they both get together, they can cancel out the curse by breaking up, and I think it's like 3 months and so many dates, and like they have to kiss, right? And obviously it's a romance, so it kind of spirals from there. I really liked the female main character. She had a lot to say, and I admired her as a female like main character. It's Romances, I feel like you have to like the characters, and I can tell you that she is a very likable character, a very relatable character, and so is he. So like this whole relationship, there wasn't like no miscommunication necessarily. They were quirky, fun, lots of good banter. So really everything you want in a fantasy. Abby Jimenez never does wrong. So just for the summer, I got you. The next book was Phoenix Unbound, which was a romantasy. This one was interesting. It gives off Roman gladiator vibes. So if you want a romantasy with Roman gladiator vibes, like I got you. This one was the female main character. She's like a spring dove, which is like a sacrificial lamb. Basically, each village has to sacrifice one of their young females to the empress in order to have some sort of like it's basically like a spring ceremony, right? And they sacrifice these girls. She, the main character, has a ability to disguise herself. So for her, every year, she's the one who's chosen to be sacrificed because she disguises herself and comes back, and therefore the town never actually has to kill off anybody. But this time when she goes to the ceremony, a gladiator recognizes her and things spiral from there. There was a couple of smutty scenes, which was really great, to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. It was very dynamic. I remember this one being very dynamic. This one was a 5 out of 5 stars. I would recommend it if you wanted basically a different romantasy, because I feel like a lot of them right now are kind of starting to become formulaic, and this one is not. This one has the gladiator vibes. This one has a very interesting female main character. The fantasy aspects are intriguing and interesting, and it is a standalone, which is really awesome. There's other books to the series, but it's written a little bit more like a romance where each character has their own book. So I recommend this one. The cover is actually really beautiful too. Are we wrapping it up already? Magnolia Parks. We are wrapping it up already. I think I talked too fast. I have to remember to slow down. I feel like I'm being rushed. I just want to tell you about all the books really quickly. Magnolia Parks. Okay, so this one is about high society, well, British high society. All these characters live in London and they're British, and it's like rich people problems, and really it's just like this friend group that is very toxic. Like very toxic. I love the drama. I love the drama when it's not real people, because if this was real people, I would be very concerned, right? It's basically about this toxic relationship between two people who went to boarding school together. They kind of like fell in love at a young age, and now that they're older, they have the female main character, well, they have issues, basically. Surprise, surprise. It's really just like the love of your life continuing. It really is just a story about the love of your life continuing to make the bad decision, the wrong decision, and you really just still being in love with them and wanting them to love you, not love you back, because they definitely love each other. It's just, like I said, very toxic. It's very hard for them to be together because of the things that have occurred in their past and continue to occur because they make really bad decisions, which is really fun to read. But also, well, the main character is Magnolia Parks. If I was Parks' best friend, I would literally smack her. But that's in other words. If you're ever bitter about a relationship, though, this is going to be good for you. I also really liked that this book was casually written, if there was any way for me to describe it. It's not necessarily an easy read. It's not necessarily like, oh, it's just a fun read, because there's definitely a lot of very beautifully written paragraphs and lines about love and toxic love and relationships, and it was still really beautifully written. It was just very casually written, so it was easy to read. So you kind of felt like you were there, like you were Magnolia Parks' diary. So I really liked it, really appreciated it. I think I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Entertainment value is like all the way up there. Oh my gosh. It's only been like 15 minutes. How many books have I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books. 11 books total. That's about, I don't know, that's about a minute and a half per book. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't know. We'll figure it out once I edit this. Anyways, that is where we're at right now. I will see you guys later, I guess. Thanks for hanging out with me. What was your favorite book for October? what did you, oh, no, September. What was your favorite book for September? Tell me more down in the comments below. Have you read any of these books and what do you think? And can I convince you to read A Song to Drown Rivers? Because if I can, you need to stick around because I would love to convince you to read that book or hear about you reading that book. So make sure you subscribe, comment, like, do all the things down below, and I will talk to you later. Bye.